Welcome to Personal Flash Paper, an affinity podcast with a focus on beginner topics, community, and hobby in the game of infinity. With me, the Baker Kid.
And I'm Ryan.
And I'm Roge.
Hey, wait.
What? Who?
What?
Who?
Is that?
Have we been hacked?
Wait a minute. There's hacking in here. Oh, guess what, everybody? Guess what time it is? It's that time of year where we have our favorite special guest. No offense to other special guests. Roge! What's up, Roge?
Roge!
What's up, dudes? Overdue. Definitely overdue.
It is long overdue. So, for those of you who may be longtime listeners, you will know Roge from his work on a fantasy tournament called Walpaka that he added Infinity to when Age of Sigmar kicked off. And then from that spawned a narrative event called Mission Critical. We are on year 3 of Mission Critical, Roge?
Yeah, that's right. So if we're counting the Wapaka years, this is, I think, the 6th Infinity event I've been running.
That seems right. It's the 3rd standalone, but 3rd plus the 3 from Paka. Yeah, that's 6.
Yeah, so this is our annual Bring Roge on, have him talk a little bit about this year's Mission Critical. But let's do our normal PFP stuff. So, Rob, what are you drinking?
I am drinking the delicious spotted cow that is only found in Wisconsin in honor of our special guest. I have been holding on to 2 cans of spotted cow since last Mission Critical with the intent of giving one to Ryan as we work together, and I effing forgot it. So I got
Literally,
2 cans.
First thing when I walked in, hadn't even sat at my desk, and Rob's like, I don't want to talk to you for a minute. And I'm like, all right. He goes in there and goes, I forgot your spotted cow at home. So I am drinking a rum old fashioned. It's a take off of the standard whiskey old fashioned with a rum twist that I am working on perfecting. I will probably bring them to Mission Critical with me.
Excellent. Well, I'm proud of you guys. I'm drinking a Blatz, of course. I
Blatz!
think I needed to explain that.
Yeah, I actually told Rob this morning, I go, if it was really Mission Critical style, we would have Blatz, but I don't think you can export Blatz. And don't they stop you at the border?
I was going to say, there's probably a tariff and or prohibition of Blatz leaving the border of Wisconsin.
That's possible. It might just be a lack of demand beyond these borders as well.
What a fine basement temperature beer, not wanted anywhere outside of the state of Wisconsin. Find it hard to believe.
Yeah, I think they send most of it up to the North Woods area here, of which I feel I'm a part of. So,
the gents from upcountry.
Absolutely.
Oh,
all right. So, Rob, you've been playing any games? What's been going on?
So I didn't get a chance to play this week, but the week before I had the esteemed pleasure of getting my teeth kicked in by a vanilla Ariadne force ran by one of the local Dan Windlers. Prep for this weekend's tournament in Lawrence, Kansas. And it was a combination of Dan did everything right, I did everything wrong, and I really need to buy new dice.
Oh, that's not good. You also played in a tournament in Columbia, Missouri.
As did you, yeah. So,
busy guys.
Yeah,
it was beginning of December, so we haven't recorded since then. So.
Yeah, well, so there was the tournament in Columbia, Missouri, which for those of you that are not familiar with the geography of the Midwest, is right in the middle of the state of Missouri, in between St. Louis and Kansas City, and several people from the St. Louis area traveled to Columbia, saw Bruno Decourt.
Yeah, the Belgian assassin was there.
Yep,
oh, cool.
Belgian, yeah, so, played some games there, had a great time, and it was all around fun. What about you, Ryan?
Well, let's go with Roge. He's our guest. Roge, have you been playing?
Well, you shouldn't have started with me.
Yeah, I know. I'm more polite than you are.
I am a dick. Yes.
All right, Roge, what's you been doing?
Yeah, for Infinity stuff, I'm probably with you guys, got some games in. Actually, way back in November, we had a nice little game day at our local shop here. We had a little shake up in our local shop here closed down, but a couple new ones opened up, and one is really focused on miniatures. And so we had a little Infinity Games Day, and we had a really good turnout. A couple guys came out of the woodwork who had a lot of second edition Infinity models, so that was really cool. They hadn't really played, but I got to run them through a demo and show them how that went.
That's awesome. Because the models from N2 and before, those batteries don't wear out on those things, so it's great.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of them are still useful. I guess I'd be curious because you guys jumped in around third edition,
Right.
right? So yeah, I'd be curious to talk to somebody who experienced the jump from second to third edition because it's getting to that point now where you could be like, well, I don't want to paint something, because I don't know if it's going to be good, when fourth edition comes out. Have
Well,
you guys
that is
had any
true.
of that in your brains at this point?
Well, I've seen some of that on the Facebook feeds, right? Where people are like, I'm really interested in Infinity. I like the way the models look, but I hear that there's a new version coming out. And it's my understanding that all of the miniatures and all the profiles that are currently in N3 are going to, roll on over into the N4.
Yeah, I definitely believe that, but are they going to be good, Rob? What if I spend all this time and it's not good?
I mean, there is some validity to that, right? Like, okay, so I've got 4 Fusiliers, or I'm like, do I need all 4, or are they going to be good, or are they just going to be trash? I know that there's the Omaha Infinity crew kind of died down, but they have started spark back up some conversation, and the guy who was running that was kind of like, I've been kind of waiting for N4, so they're looking to kind of relaunch next year, which we know that I guess, intro starter rules are Code 1, I think is what they're calling it.
Code 1. Code 1.
Yeah.
Kick back a big, tall glass of cold one.
Cold 1. That's smooth. Yeah.
So smooth, so refreshing.
Are you still doing your Saga stuff? I still see your Saga YouTube things every now and then.
Yeah, doing lots of Saga. I like that game. I'm not here to talk about that.
Yeah. Just giving you some
thank you to
credit.
stay out of my personal business.
Your personal business is my business, Roge. I have a whole podcast literally just about your personal business, but it's just me. I just talk to myself about your personal business.
Wow. So Infinity, I guess it's a game that's getting ready to come back out with a new edition, and I think a lot of the things are still going to be useful in the new edition.
Yeah, I think so too. If I kind of had those thoughts, I'm working on some Combine Army stuff again. I'm doing the drones, the remotes, so those should be useful universally. But I think the Infinity track record is pretty good, and whatever you do is you're probably going to be fine. So I think if you're thinking about that, it's just another excuse that you're coming up with not to do something. So that's what I think.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that I have seen the most request for, or the highest demand for, on when I'm looking at the Facebook groups of the Infinity Trade Group or WGC, is the Jellyfish remotes for Combined. Those are still a highly sought after model. Do you have any of those in your army that you're working on right now, Roland?
Well, it's funny you should say that. I like those remotes. They have a lot of character to them, a lot of motion. They kind of look like they're floating there. So I don't have any of those. I do have the current ones. Now I have enough so that I can do every remote that I could use at one time and just paint them all at the same time, get it over with, and then I have this arsenal of remotes that I can pull from. So that's 7 or 8 of them. And I'm actually
I actually have enough to do the exact same thing.
Oh God.
Yeah, I think if you're getting into a faction, it's not a bad place to start, really. Or if you just build remotes that could work in multiple factions, because at some point you're going to want to use most of them. and you're not sure how many at the same time. But anyway, so I hate the spider legs on them. They're like way too detailed, and you have to reach across the paintbrush to the other side, so it's hard to get in there. So I'm actually going to ditch the legs. And we know that I can whip up some sculpted tentacles pretty easily. So I think I'm going to try to create like a Mark 1.5 remote. So it's not quite the old one and it's not the new one. It's like, some prototype that they had in between.
So, and you've got on your YouTube channel some reference to those models, and that was your Zeech Fantasy Army, right? That you have some of the tutorials on how you made those tentacles, and so people could. What's your YouTube channel, Roge?
It's just Roge Rules, baby.
All right, there you go, everybody. Search it out. You can find those pearly blue models.
Yeah, so I'm currently going through. I'm kind of anal retentive, so I'm just cataloging all my models as I go through with 360 video shots.
Yeah.
So, so when you say you're cataloging, for those of us that don't watch it, what do you mean catalog? Are you going through your entire inventory and cataloging it that way, or you're going through it and taking shots so that you can upload it to the YouTubes for future reference?
Yeah, so I'm going through. The intent is to do every model in my collection here. So I've already done it with like my Wood Elf army from days of old. So now I'm going through my demons. The Infinity models are going to get it. My Saga models. Basically every model that I have, I want to feature in a video, just in a little catalog or a gallery for my own personal satisfaction. And then at the same time, I'm taking really good photos, because that's something that over the years, my photos have always just been, whatever photos I've taken and never been happy with. But I have a photo setup that I really like. It works with the video. So I'm just going to get video and photos of all my stuff, just basically for my own personal satisfaction.
No, that sounds really good, because I know when you talk about photography in general, that can really add or detract away from the overall model that has been painted. And it's something that I know that I struggle with, and I think you and I have talked in years past about light boxes and how to get lighting and different, settings for cameras, and, the difference between a good camera and your mobile phone camera. And, that is something that, in all honesty, in my mind, it is its own hobby unto itself.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes a while to really figure out what you want to do. And probably for like a decade, I've been working at it. I'm trying to figure out something, but not really sitting down and doing it. And finally, last year, I got the setup that I want. I got plenty of lights. I just use my Samsung camera. It seems to work better than anything else I've tried. So that's what I use. Well, and now I don't even. Before, when I would take photos, I would always be like, well, these are good enough for now, but I'll figure out some better way. But now it's just, I don't even think about it anymore. This is the way that I'm going to do it, and I never have to think about it ever again.
No, that's good. And digital photography, digital cameras have come so far. I mean, I remember dropping some major coin before my first trip with the wife to Europe for a digital camera, and now that thing's sitting in a drawer somewhere and is not even holding a candle to the phone that's on my Samsung, phone.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
My first real professional job, we used to have all of our salespeople carried around 35mm cameras, and they would, end of their day, they would drop it off at a 1-hour photo, and then we would go pick them up and go through, identify them, scan them all in, and we did that because it was automotive, right? So they would have, 4 or 5 rolls that we would burn through, and then we went to digital. And I still have one of the original cameras, and it's a block. It's like probably 3 times the size of like a normal white bread sandwich, right? And it has the smallest camera on it. Like literally, the cheapest cell phone is a better camera. And I remembered it cost us $900 a shot for one of those cameras, and we had like 6 of them.
It's a 4 megapixel, dude.
Yeah, it was crazy. So
funny. Yeah. I had the same sort of thing, like a camera that we got for my wedding that my wife picked out that I was trying to use, and then I always had an old shitty iPhone camera that didn't really work very well. And then my wife got a new phone, so I took her old, it's like Galaxy S6, and I tried that. I'm like, oh yeah, this is like way better than both of those things. And the like video camcorder that I was trying to use to do the 360. So yeah, all you need is your phone, really.
Yeah, currently all the photos that I throw up are just taken on. I have a nice light box that I got as a Kickstarter thing, and I just use my cell phone. However, I do have a really expensive SLR, camera with a macro lens
Oh
and
yeah,
all that
that's the
stuff. But
real
it's just
YouTube
yeah,
shit,
it's
my
just
friend.
setting it up. Yeah, it's just setting it up. It's just a pain. So I just don't do it. It sits in my closet when I take it to do family things. But
Ryan, you hit on a really, in my mind, a really important topic for the hobby in general. Is if something's a pain in the ass, you're not going to do it,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
yeah, but if it's a lot of work, then it's just like it's just easier for me because I moved our office around, and so I have this L-shaped desk that I'd made, and I was in one part of it. My wife's stuff was on the other part of it, but she never really used her part. And then I had a separate desk on the other wall. That's where my painting was. So I actually moved all of her stuff to that area and rebuilt that desk, and then so I have the entire L.
Nice.
Yeah, which allowed me to set up the light box and just leave it up. And so now
Yep.
when I'm done with the model, I just put it in there and I
Nice.
just slide over with my phone, plug everything in, and snap a couple of shots. So I'm actually better at getting pictures of all my stuff, and I'm actually
Yeah,
cranking out
because
more models right now. So
and that's what I was going to say. You're a Kari. You are just churning and burning through those things.
Yeah, lovely figs, man. I like them.
yeah, you'll see them in May. They're coming with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got one more model to build and paint for my first 300 point list for Mission Critical. And then I need to work on the second one to figure out what I'm going to do with that.
Good luck.
Yep, I'm waiting for the curveballs. But
Yep. So, talking about Mission Critical, are we going to dive into that little nugget right now, or are we going to tease it for right now and then push it on down the road?
Oh, I've got to throw some shade before we go on, though.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah, so I played some games. I too went to the Columbia tournament. And for those of you out there who are wondering, you cannot win a game if every other face-to-face roll your opponent rolls a crit.
Are you sure?
Out there.
Are you sure?
Well,
pretty
yeah.
sure. Yeah. So we have a local guy, Wolver Mike or Harry Mike, as he was originally known, because we had two mics, one with hair, one without. So Harry Mike. He literally had one of the JSA bike dudes with Spitfire in his first turn park himself on my deployment edge of the table. Not at my deployment line, at the edge of the table.
Nice.
That's a good tactic.
Yeah, he made it through a linked Tonko missile launcher and a linked Keisotsu HMG and a total reaction HMG. Just killing everything as he went down and critting left and right, and it was very, very unnice, and I was very disappointed.
Unnice.
Unnice. It was not nice. However, last night, my Akari sought the revenge. I had a Yan deviate and land, and he withstood 2 flash pulses, a Hollow Man missile launcher, a Hollow Man Spitfire, and another submachine gun shot. And he either Mike missed or I made the saves. So
Yes.
so I spent a turn because now I'm in a prime position. I step over to the edge of the building, and he shoots back at me with everything else. This time, adding in a mine that went off, and dodged with Mary Problems and a Heckler Jammer. Mary and the Heckler both failed their dodge against the JA rifle, and both died. Again, survived all of the hits except for one of the flash pulse. So the guy was blind. But I'm just like, I'm really okay with that. He survived much longer than I thought he was going to. That's a great piece trading. However, also the week before, I played another guy, Jacob, and he killed my Tonko missile launcher guy on every one of his turns, which means I brought it back up multiple times, and he had to kill it again.
Yeah, because in that
it was horrible. He
in that week, Jacob came over to the table that Dan and I were playing at, and he was like, "I effing hate this game. This game is so stupid." And then he would go back and be like, "Yes, I killed it," and then he'd come back, "Fucking hate this game."
Yeah, we figured he tanked at least 15 sniper shots. The Tonko did. I mean, he dumped almost his entire first round of orders into killing the Tonko and dropped it finally at the end, but it took him almost probably 8 orders on his first turn. And then my doctor just crawled over to him and stood him back up, and he had to spend his whole next turn doing it.
Are you all right?
It was pretty funny. Which means this tournament on Saturday, it means I'm going to make none of those rolls, and it's going to die right away.
Yeah, no. Everybody that doesn't even listen to this show is going to be gunning for that Tanko missile launcher.
Yep. It was kind of funny though, because he just kept making them, and he was like, "You got to be freaking kidding me!" And I made several armor rolls and saves last night also. But all right,
Raj, what about you? Playing any games?
He's already done that.
Well, no, he talked about him. He talked about running a demo, but has he played any games? Is there anything that he can talk about? I want to be courteous to our guest, Ryan.
Yeah, sure. Not too much to talk about. So that day I did the demo for the new guys, the second edition guys. And then actually had some people over from Eau Claire, which is about an hour and a half away. So Jordan Heckman made the drive. So I met him in the Twin Cities at the Renegade Open. So he came with his buddy. We played some games, got to pull out the Combine Army. I killed them pretty good. Felt good about that. Although, well, I don't remember too much actually. But after that, a couple weeks later, I did get another game in Combined Army using is it countermeasures? The one where you put down the classifieds and then you kind of complete them and cycle.
Yep, and then you recycle them. Yep.
Yep. It's countermeasures. Playing that Saturday.
So I saw.
I like that mission.
All the events around here are starting off with that one. It looks like so. I knew that I had to get that one in and kind of see what I wanted to do for the Combine Army. So I had a limited insertion force before, so now I've expanded it out. And in the little Imitrons and the Icadrons, and gotta throw in Kodali too. She can accomplish a few of those objectives too, my friends.
Oh yeah.
So are you running vanilla or are you running Onyx?
It's Onyx. I keep saying Combine, but it is Onyx. And then, so I'm thinking with the Unidron, so my first 300 points was just really to fill it out. So I had 2 of the Legates, and an Overdron. So that's like half your force. So all of those are decent. Like, if you just had one of them. But as all 3, I felt I was kind of playing down a little bit. So, but if I drop that, that's like 150 points to play with. So I throw in the Q drone. That dude's money. Kodali. I'm actually going to try a Spitfire Unidron, and because those guys always just kind of hung back while those other models killed stuff. But I want to push those guys forward, try to run them aggressive, see how that works for me.
Now, do you put the support wear on the Q drone, the one that gives the marksmanship, the assisted fire one?
Yeah, so that's my idea going forward because I added the Spec Ops guy. What is he called? The Nexus operative.
Nexus operative
lieutenant.
Yeah.
Hacker guy.
Yeah.
So I didn't have him before, so I didn't really have a hacker to do that. But that's the game plan going forward. So in a couple games I played, I definitely use that support wear a lot. Usually on the sniper. Actually, he's pretty fearsome with the team backup as a defensive piece. But I want to run him forward on the Spitfire. 5 dice on 17s or whatever it's going to be is pretty
and shock
scary. And then you get the Unidron, the rest of the schleps up there, and they're really good at mid range with those plasma rifles. They're really scary. If you flub your attack against them, you might not survive.
Yep.
Nope.
Nope. That's I was
Plasma,
playing
baby.
Onyx. I was playing Onyx for a while, and that's where I had the Nexus with the Q drone. Was almost my go-to. I really love the Zeodrons. I still really love the Zeodrons. Um, so I liked Onyx a
Yeah,
lot.
I've been eyeing those up. I got the models, and then the Samaritan too, with the Protheon. But since they had Kodali with Protheon, if you want to get your Protheon on, I think that's your go-to there.
Yeah, I think I do like Kodali with the Onyx too. I played her a handful of times before I switched over to the Akari that I'm doing now.
Decent, no smoke shenanigans, but still good, still fair, I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
definitely.
Yep.
Have you tried the impersonator for those guys, the basic one, before you kind of hung them up, Ryan?
No, I did not.
Greif operator.
Yeah,
I was just curious.
they had not come out by the time I had moved on. So I do say that I have been looking back at my Toha now, and I kind of want to go back in and play some with the Toha with all of the additions that the Spiral Core box brought with them. So, and I actually made a trade last night for a bunch of Yujing for some Spiral Core. So I have a bunch of those to do now. So I might play with those a little bit too.
Nice.
Can you run a spiral core with just old Toha models?
Oh yeah, pretty easily. Yeah.
Cool.
More bang for your buck that way.
Yeah, the real difference is the Spiral Core doesn't have some of the things like the Spiral Core does not have the McCalls, which is the Eclipse Smoke.
Yep.
They don't run. They can run a 5-man link with brawlers, a couple other things, but so there's just some availability differences. When I was really originally looking at them, I wasn't going to run Spiral Core at all because I was like, I'd rather most of my Spiral Core stuff's going to be all Toha anyways, so I don't really need it. But and that's kind of where I'm going to go back and look and play with the Toha. And I want to see if I can make it a little more aggressive and see if I can pull some hand-to-hand stuff out with them because I think they could do it with the Eclipse Smoke and just try to get some close combat in. I've been doing it. I've been actually having close combat in my last 2 games. There's been close combat in multiple cases, but most of the time it's been because I've had a Daiokai
screaming across the board.
Yeah, you may have seen pictures of the Red Devil, as I have named him. That can
Very
can
cool
move.
model, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. I was having a lot of fun with him. But since he has NCO, I have a lieutenant order that I can use, and so I push him up and try to get him into close combat.
With great success.
Well, sometimes.
Well,
I mean, last night he spent 4 orders trying to kill a target decoy HVT in unmasking, and he was using martial arts level 2, and I was rolling like 2 and 3, and my opponent would roll like a 5, and I'm like, well, all right. So he kept dodging me. He wasn't doing any damage to me. He just kept dodging. But and in hindsight, he probably should have actually just tried to slap me with the HVT. But... All right. So, Roge, we have brought you on, really, because we want to talk about the fun things that are going to happen in May. So, let's talk some Mission Critical.
Let's get critical, boys. What do you want to know? I'll tell you everything.
So, in the intro audio clip on YouTube that is on the website, I
Call
hear
me Jake.
Yeah, call me Jake. I hear mention of a Major Blatz, a Colonel Blatz, Officer Blatz.
Yeah, Jake Blatson there, mercenary commander there. I can't remember if he has a title or not, but yeah, he may be a character people run into this go around.
And Verhoeven is still
there. Is he going to be
there?
at room temperature?
Always. Well, no, he's always pretty cool. He's cooler than room temperature guys.
He's frosty.
Oh yeah.
Nice. So for those of you who are not up to speed, there is a audio trailer out there. For those of you who have some nerd history and movie background, you may recognize the overarching story that's going on there. May sound a little familiar. Draw some similarities to another movie that may or may not take place in the future in what may or may not have been New York that may or may not need to be escaped from. Um,
May or may not be.
Very astute.
yeah,
Can't get anything past you guys.
we're quick ones here.
Chameleon Pliskin.
What got you like? Were you watching that? Did that come on TV and you just had the idea? How did you get to that idea?
Well, usually by the time the Mission Critical hits, I've already given up on it, and I'm like, well, that's as good as it's going to get. But the next one I'm going to do, that's going to be the real shit. That's going to be awesome, and I already have the idea for that one. So, that kind of, I don't know. So the other ones have sort of been loosely based off 80s movies. So in some ways, it's just continuing that tradition. Total Recall, Aliens, perhaps for the first one. So, and then that opening scene, I knew would make a really good, just a audio clip that would be really interesting for players to listen to, and it would give everybody the information that they needed without having to come up with a visual, some sort of visual thing. So obviously, making videos is a hobby. I'm not very adept at it, so that's about the extent of my skills. So I knew that would work really well, I thought, as a video, just with the little voice modulation, going up and down.
Nice. Yeah, I honestly think your videos are way better than anything that I could do. So don't sell yourself short.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I will say the first one with the crayon drawings and the little girl narrator was
creepy.
Very creepy.
So good.
It was so good.
Yeah. Gotta have something there to look at. I am proud of that one as well.
All right, so how is the planning coming along? Are you ready? Do you still have months and months of work that you're going to cram it in at the last minute?
Well, usually it ends up that way, but this time I'm taking the setup is sort of with the long haul in mind. How can I do this every year and sort of cut down on duplication of work? So there isn't going to be a lot of terrain. So there was about half the tables were scratch built by me last year, so that probably won't happen again. So one thing I found out was people say that they like playing on those sort of unique tables more than they actually do. Do you guys have an opinion on that?
Did you get complaints about the tables after?
No, I found. So even I brought out these tables for our little games day that we had a couple months ago. So I found if you lose on like the mine table or something, a player will generally say, well, obviously this table is really janky and that's the reason that I lost. And if I would have played on a normal table, I might not have lost. They look really cool. They're fun to make. As far as playing on them, maybe some people do, some people don't. But again, it goes back to kind of effort too. I think I could use my efforts elsewhere to get a better bang for my buck, because a lot of it is just the community and the story and what's going on and extra details like that, maybe more so than the terrain. So just based off, kind of my observations afterward and what people were talking about.
That's weird, because I have 3 tables that are actually currently. I have 2 that are done, and I have 3 tables that are currently in process, right? And they are actually janky. They are far more themed. Like one of them is literally all wilderness. So there is one building that I've made that is I'm referring to it as Mount Weather, which is a military installation and thing. So it's that's your armory if you need it, right? But it's kind of looks like it's built into this rocky outcropping. That's 8x8. Then I have like all the other rockings are like hills that are on 2-inch foam with rock around them, and then the idea is they actually stack, so I can actually modularly move them around. And I have some other pieces I kind of put in so they stand, and I'll send you some pictures of it, Raj. And then I have some tree croppings that I'm going to use that will essentially be your vertical blocking groups. And so it's basically the idea is just it's a wilderness table, right? Then I have the long shipping yard table that I say long because I've actually had most of it built for like 3 years now, or whenever we made this massive TT combat order.
When the pound dropped.
Yeah, when the pound dropped, whenever that was.
Brexit started.
It was way before that. It was right before that actually, and it was just like, and I have it all assembled, and I just need to paint it. I need to do a couple other pieces to it, but I just haven't got around to it. I think it will be one of those, and people are like, "Oh, that looks really cool," but it's hard to play on, so that's kind of why I haven't done much of it. And then I have another one that based on the Arc terrain from Black Site Studios that I got not this last Black Friday, but the Friday before that, the Black Friday before that, and it just doesn't have enough entry points for Infinity. But then Disney Plus came out and they introduced this little known series. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's The Mandalorian. Are you familiar with that?
Is that like a Kung Fu
Mando
Warriors?
Is it Kung Fu spinoff?
Oh, you talking about
David?
No,
David? Oh, Star Wars.
Yeah,
Star Wars.
Yeah, it's based on the Star Wars. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I think it's a few people have seen it. Some people are familiar with it. Not a lot of people have watched it.
Yeah.
But anyways, the town that the Bounty Hunters Guild is in, I started staring at that town, and I'm like, I think I could do that with this Black Site Studio stuff. And so I've started texturing those and building rocky pieces on those so they look like they're cut out. That's the one I'm waiting on pieces. By the way, if it gets done, it would actually probably fit perfectly into your theme and location
Sounds
of your.
like it.
It's just a matter if I can get the other pieces that I had to order to round it out and then get it put together. And then see how it plays. That's always the test.
So, Raj and Ryan, you guys both brought up two different points that were very similar in that, if I would have played on quote unquote a normal table. And Ryan, you said something about, the Black Site having the normal Infinity points or the normal entry points for Infinity. So what is a normal table? Because Raj, in my opinion, the mines and, the Ansari Station, those were quote unquote normal because it was still, lines of fire. There were, fire alleys or fire lanes, and there were vertical, blocking. There was overpasses. There was all the things that I would consider to be a normal table. So I throw the question out there, what is a normal table and how does that differ from the tables that you guys have built from scratch?
I think a lot of people, when they say normal table, I think they look for right angles, so you're looking at buildings that are right angles. I think, when I first started playing it, the shark mounted laser table I have, that's my city table, has a bunch of dumpsters that I made out of plastic card and then molded and cast a bunch amount of resin because I got tired of seeing like all these Infinity tables that were in the middle of town and they're just shipping crates just all over the place, and that really started bugging me because it really, to me, was like, why are there so shipping carts everywhere in Infinity? Like, that's in 175 years. Start investing in shipping crates businesses now because apparently everyone needs shipping crates. If you look at the
taking off, baby.
Yeah, so I think that a lot of people will look at the right angles, right? Buildings they can or can't go into. So I think when you do like on the mines, right, that was rocky outcroppings, and for some people that was like they couldn't transpose that it does the same thing, right? It's still that's just a corner and an angle. You had a handful of them that had some different terrain features or special effects, but those scenario rules are in Infinity, right?
Yeah.
People just don't use them. Shooting in and out of buildings, I mean, that should be a saturation zone, but rarely does anybody ever use it as a saturation zone. So I don't know. That's me. What do you think, Roger? You might feel that way?
No, I think you're on the right track. So the right angles, the buildings with the stairs going up the side with full cover going around every every part of the building there. So it's a nice, safe. Every building's a nice, safe little turret, little nest for guys. So I guess the lack of that is what I picked up on as far as comments. So like in the last game I played, so with my mind tables. So when we played at the tournament, I just had enough for 4 tables. So there were basically were ruled as sort of 2-dimensional. The height was just a little bit taller than an S7 silhouette.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it was. But since then, I've been basically combining 2 of the tables, and they kind of stack on top of each other. So it looks really cool. I should send you guys some pics of these mines. So it's like really 3-dimensional, and they go up maybe 6 or 8 inches. And there's like little, causeways and stuff going across and connecting them. But so that was closer to a traditional table. But like the one guy was pissed because there was no walls on the side of the mines to hide his guys. So he wanted to put his sniper up, and he always puts his sniper up in the one spot, or he always has him in one lane, and he couldn't do that, and then that threw him off his whole game.
Oh, okay, so what I'm hearing is right angles and stylistic play. Stylistic play aside, in nature, if you look outside your window during the daylight, you are not going to see an effing right angle. It doesn't exist. Nature doesn't do that sort of thing. So if we're going to play this game from the point of having an immersive, fun time where it's going to be quasi, let's take a break from reality and do these things, why not interject these table effects? Why not interject these no right angles? But still have the same, to Ryan's point, these things that are in the rules, because, I think Infinity has really thought of a lot of things that we don't use.
I think a lot of it is, like you're saying, if you have people that are playing and they're so used to playing on a certain way, they know how things function in a certain way, and then you throw them a curveball. In some cases, some people can't adjust for that, right? And so I think that's where you get some of that at.
Swing and a miss.
Gotta adjust, boys. But so to get back to train for this year, so it's going to be mostly source from the players bringing it in, so whatever they happen to have, and there might be a little sprinkling of additional pieces from me. That might be my contribution, but I can't speak any further on that, guys.
Are you sure you can't speak any further on that?
I can speak further, but all I can say is I can't speak any further on that.
Please?
So
I can either confirm it or not.
So can we can talk about the setting of your critical for this year?
Yeah.
Talk about the story behind it.
Yeah. So why don't you give us a little bit of the quick rundown there?
All right. Pop in your Escape from New York DVD, director's cut, special edition. I might give you some clues now. So if you listen to the trailer, you get most of the gist of it. So I guess listening to it, is there any outstanding questions that you have about what's going on and what you're going to be doing? I'm just curious. If I covered the basics.
Do we have to bring a motorcycle?
No,
I can't. But
you do whatever you want, bud.
I've got 5 Coom Riders that are sitting in acetone right now.
Yeah, I was like, I've got to redesign how I'm going to do some things here. I got to bring a bike. I need to play with one. But I'm actually now wanting folks. I kind of want to bring a bike.
So, Roge, for the people that haven't attended a Mission Critical or haven't listened to the trailer, what is a 30-second to a minute synopsis of what has transpired up to this point to bring those people that are listening or maybe sitting on the fence of joining the Mission Critical bandwagon? What do they need to know for a story, timeline sort of thing?
Sure. So the trailer is from the perspective of, some kind of special forces guy, Jake Blatson, who is a criminal, but he's going to be sent in on essentially a suicide mission. So basically that's what the players will be going in. So it takes place on Burak, in the desert this year, and we've got good old Roge Corp. So the CEO of Roge Corp went into Borak to make some kind of deal or something. We're not quite sure, but he planted some sort of bug on the slopes of Kivakala or in that area. So that's where the silk is made. So in the background, there's like little worms and there's like a life cycle. So he's done some kind of nefarious nanotech to interrupt that life cycle for maybe ransom purposes. We're not quite sure what he's up to. And while he was making his escape in a some kind of small craft, it gets shot down. They figure out what he's up to, but it happens to land in what looks to be in the middle of the desert. But upon closer inspection, is actually just an area of wasteland that's been walled off by the Burak authorities, and it's basically just a giant prison. So you think an Escape from New York, isn't too far off. Maybe a little Mad Max in there, perhaps as well, a little extra flavor with the Coon Riders and stuff like that. So the CEO's gone down. He's got some kind of MacGuffin or device that he can use to abort the destruction of the silkworms. And so at this point, everybody has a reason to go there, to be in control of the silk, essentially. So every faction, the big ones, Pano, Yujing, but just criminal organizations, perhaps Black Lotus, I don't know, would have a reason to go in and try to capture this guy for themselves. But once they're in there, they might find that things are a little more complicated than they seem, perhaps, especially with everybody else also jumping in. So I will say, I'm using Roge Corp again, but this is the last part of the Roge Corp trilogy, and we'll be moving on from Roge Corp after this.
No!
And then it's gonna become Black Lotus. I got it.
Oh no!
Roge,
No
I have just sent you a Facebook Messenger message.
What is it about?
Is this something I need to edit out?
No, I'm just he said some things and I popped a thought in my head, and so I sent him a piece to see if I'm right. So you can just look at. I just want you to know to look at it there sometime. Nope, he's looking at
Yeah.
Yeah. Musical interlude. Here we come.
And by the way, if it's not, that should be, because that would be awesome. But
We'll see.
poor Rob, left out in the dark.
I want to bring
that's
that
fine.
motorcycle.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so you're breaking people up into 4-man teams again, right? That's what we did last year.
Yeah.
That's kind of been the theme idea you've done a couple times. So for those of you who have never been, don't have 3 buddies and go with you. You don't have to have a 4-man team, right? You can go and Roger will get you signed up or set up with people.
You could just have a 2, just you and your buddy want to be together, and then I'll try to lump you together. So you can have background for your team if you want. So I did all that kind of heavy lifting last year for the teams, for everybody to kind of show folks how it could be done. This year I'm going to step back and let the players decide. But if they don't want to, I'll step in and provide a little something for them as far as background. But all the teams from last year, those are, they all have a beef with Roge Corp, or they are Roge Corp, so they can come back, no problem.
Or they're hunting Black Lotus. Whatever.
Black Lotus. Hail Hydra. So, which kind of brings me to one thing I want to talk about for the event, right? Mm-hmm. So, last year's event, Tor Swanson and I were Black Lotus. That was the group you put us with based on the armies we were playing, right? Mm-hmm. And we only had 2. And then you had approached Tor and I want to say Friday night before the games started, and said we could recruit somebody else as a secret agent, right? And we did. And so you actually let us do 2 people. They were our group. In secret, wasn't revealed who they were until Saturday morning. And that was Will Thompson and Scott Tipsword became our undercover agents. And the reason I bring that up is because to this day, we started a Facebook Messenger group and named it Black Lotus. And the 4 of us talk multiple times a day. Right, there's constant talk. Will had a baby, and we were there for that.
Yeah.
His son had some surgery the other day, and he, I knew going into that. He told me when he was headed in. He told me he got out. So um, the reason I bring it up is because Mission Critical is not about going to a tournament and punching your opponent's face in. It's not about just winning. It's not about all that. There's the story behind it, but it's so much more than that. It's here are 30 to 60 dudes that some I may or may not know, but I'm leaving here with really good friends, like, and people that I'm talking to on a regular basis. Edwin Perez from Panama came up the first year, right? And Rob and I still banter back and forth with him on Facebook, and I think he's coming back. So if you're not like a hardcore gamer, if you're like, well, I can't go and compete in these big weekend long tournaments, this is actually a really good event for you, because that's not the solo focus of this event. And I think that's one of the things that me personally, I really enjoy about this. I actually wish there was some more narrative things. I think we have seen some more crop up in the last couple of years, so people are doing that. And I think that really adds to this flavor. And I really personally feel that you, Raj, have done a lot to do that, to bring that in there. And I mean, kudos to you on that, and to keep it running, because I know it's a lot harder to do one of these than it is to do just a normal weekend ITS event.
Totally.
Yeah, thank you for the kind words. Yeah, it is a lot of effort, and kind of mentioned you kind of having to reinvent the wheel every time. So I'm trying to figure out kind of what the best practices are, and that kind of that personal interaction there, kind of above and beyond what you normally get in a tournament. So that's kind of what I'm trying to focus on with this one, is ideas and how I can connect players beyond just the game. So I spent a lot of time focusing on the terrain last time, but it was just this connection that you had that created the lasting memories and satisfaction. So I want to foster as much of that as I can.
Yeah, and that makes sense, and I think it's really cool. Like I said, I know that I'm returning this year. I do know that Tipsword is not going to be able to go back. Yeah, he's got something going on. He's Tor is planning on it. Will is working on the wife credits at the moment.
Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah.
So I mean, their kid isn't even a year old yet. And like I said, he had some surgery, but he's doing great. So, we'll have to see how it works out. I really hope it works out, because it'll be fun to be back together. Because like I said, I mean, we've used the Black Lotus. I mean, we refer to it here on the cast. The four of us talk about it. My and Kari, I refer to them as the Black Lotus group. So
whenever I see those, that's what I think of.
Yeah, which that's part of the reason why they're very menacing and underhandedly.
Yeah.
So
excellent.
Yeah, I'm excited. Rob and I are both planning to come up. Andrew
Har
is going to come back up. He missed the last 2 years, or just last year?
Last two, I believe.
Yeah, I think he went to Wapaka. I think he missed.
Yep. And then he had a baby.
Yep.
Well, he didn't have a baby. His wife had a baby. But get the gist.
Yep. And then we're Rob and I are recruiting other KC folks. I don't know if the other KC folks made it up last year are going to make it back. I haven't seen. Zach hasn't played in a little bit, but we'll try to get him back in.
Sure.
Yeah.
Will Fergus, right? Is he the other fellow down there?
No, the Clayton Beast.
Clayton Beast, yeah.
Last year.
Okay, yeah.
And Zach Daly came up last year, and then Thor came up with us, but he had to leave. He was the one that had to leave Sunday because of scheduling. And he was relatively new too. He hasn't played since then, but there's a lot of reasons behind that. So, not Mission Critical involved at all. All right, so we kind of know the theme, a little bit of what's going on, how people are being paired. So let's do some logistics. It's the first weekend of May, so I think that's the second and third, right?
Yep, first through third. So first is the Friday, so it'll be open most of the day for gaming there. We'll have Sam Lenz coming over. So he actually doesn't live that far away. I don't know if you know that.
Oh,
If
really?
you know him. Yeah, he lives over in Appleton area.
Yeah,
Okay.
because he's the couple Walpacas we went to, he'd shown up and popped around then.
Yeah,
That's
Tabletop
okay.
Minions. Adam, he lives nearby too. So yeah, I played lots of Infinity games against Sam. He's been in my basement multiple times for some basement narrative campaign games. So I don't know if he's going to play, but he's going to come out. He was gracious enough. I've been trying to set that up for a couple of years. It finally worked with his schedule. So he's going to have a brushwork seminar in the evening before the kickoff. And then, so the kickoff will be Friday, like at 9 p.m. So it's not required, but if you can be there, there's a lot of talking about what's happening and what's going on and setting the scene. So, that could take, 20, 30 minutes or something. So I think it's better to do that when everybody's got some beverages in them. And so in the morning, then we can just get right to playing the game. We can just jump right into the action. So if you could be there Friday night, that'll be best.
Oh yeah, that's not a problem for us because we're leaving early in the morning, doing the 9-hour drive. Gonna have a blast on that.
Yeah, Rob and I think both signed up for Sam's thing on Friday.
Yep.
That's cool. I think I'm all in. I signed up for Sam's thing. I think I gave you money for a mat.
Yep.
I like that. I like those big fat digits.
Yeah. And then, and it's funny because for those of you, if you're traveling in, depending on where you're coming from, Rob and I typically stay Sunday night and then drive back on Monday because it's a 9-hour drive for us. And we've done the flying to Chicago and then drive up, and the total travel time is actually about the same. It's just more expensive to fly. So, but, and what we've done the last 2 years is, on Sunday night, everybody leaves and we take everything down and we still have that room still open. And so, we just set up terrain and we just play some more games and hang out for a little bit that night. So for those of you looking to travel, if you want to stay Sunday night, there'll be some other people there, at least the Kansas group.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be there as well, be able to partake in the action. So yeah, I don't know what else we have to talk about, but Saturday, Sunday, we'll play some games, get it wrapped up by 4:30. Sunday, we'll go get some chicken strips and
chicken strips.
That sounds good. Any surprises you wanna lay us? Any juicy tidbits you wanna give to us?
No, sorry.
Classic Roge right there, everybody. Classic Roge.
No.
All right.
I don't think
Did you
so.
set this whole thing up specifically to try to get a juicy nug?
Yeah, that's the only reason we're still friends with you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think you can make some inferences about what might happen based off the trailer and what I said. Maybe go back, watch the trailer a few more times, re-listen to everything I said, just over and over, and you probably have some deep understandings, deep thoughts by the end of it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to watch. I'm gonna have to watch Escape from New York over and over and over.
Should probably just book the conference room on 7, Rob, and just watch it all day someday.
Well, Mandalorian's over, so I know everybody's got time.
Yeah. So for we were booking the conference room on Fridays and watching The Mandalorian at work, by the way. So
Nice.
But it's fine. Our director was there. She was the one that told me to set it up. So I'm like, all right. All right. For those of you that don't know, Mission Critical is a narrative event, and there's a painting requirement, right? So you don't want bare metals there. And we're not talking. You don't have to be the award-winning painter. It's literally just get some primer on your models, get some colors on your models, get an effort to at least put some paint on them, and and that's fine. It's just here's the guy, and I haven't even had time to glue his arms on, and so he's those are the things that you're trying to avoid, right? But part of that is painted armies really add to the story, right? You're gonna have fully painted tables, fully painted armies, and it makes the whole thing just have a better feel.
So I'm going the extra mile.
Oh.
Everything. So it's the least people can do is paint their figs. kind of add to it.
Paint your minis.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. If you want to know
That's
more,
what I'm doing.
check the PFB Facebook page. I'm dropping them up there as I finish them.
Yep. And finally, Flash Paper Friday is still a thing.
It's back, baby.
Is it?
It still is. You post on it, I post on it. It's a thing.
Yep. All right, Raj. So, what do you see this doing? Like, do you see 30 people, 60 people? What were we at last year?
Oh, sure. So we were at, stuff to remember now. I think I would have capped out at 32. So you guys just had a two-man team, right? So I think there was another two-man team. So
Yeah,
I
the
believe that
military orders
was,
had two-man team.
so that's 28 folks out of a 32 possible. So I've jacked it up to 40. I can handle 40. The room can handle it. It'll be nice and comfortable. Plenty of space. You know, it could really be double that. You know, if we could get our games in. But so we're about 20 signups right now. So we're about halfway there. And some of the folks that you mentioned have not signed up yet. So I would
That's good.
encourage them to do so. Reserve your spot. Yeah, so 65 to get in. You're going to get a mug. We got another table of terrain being given away. So this is going to be Josh Hubner from Warstein Studios. So he's doing up basically a theme table to the event. So he's got a lot of 3D printing action going on with that. So it'll be a nice 3D printed table. Not necessarily.
Yeah. I still owe Josh a logo. I'm going to get that to him.
Yeah. And I talk with Josh, I would say almost every other day about 3D printing stuff. So yeah,
cool.
Good people.
Super knowledgeable about that. So Rob has generously offered to contribute his 3D printing services as well.
Yep.
So, kind of with my explanation, with the tables and stuff, we're not going to have as much of a need as maybe we would have last year. But I've got some things in mind for you that you can help out with. And then Ryan, you volunteered once again. So I think you painted, was that a full 300 points last year, a full force?
It was not. It was the Tunguska starter box and the Sectoriate starter box, or Storia box. So 10 models. But I mean, I don't think you could make a full 300 out of those because they're not as expensive. But yeah, so that's what I did last year.
With carrying case.
Yeah, with carrying case.
It was very, very cool. So Ryan is going to be painting some models. Once again, you won't have the full load, but we're going to get up to a full 300-point army between you, me, perhaps some others to give away. So giving away a table, giving away 300-point army. And then you can also sign up to get a battle mat, $35 for a 4x4 from Frontline Game.
Yeah, which is about 50% of retail, isn't it? Aren't they like $50, $60, something like that?
Doesn't get any cheaper than that, people.
Yeah, no, literally, that's why I was like, I've got to get one. I mean, I can't pass that up. So
and to be honest with that, I had completely missed that. So I had seen the link for the Mission Critical. I scrolled down. I kind of saw, price of $65. I saw the Samlins thing, and I stopped scrolling. And then Ryan comes into the office. He's like, "Dude, did you see the mats?" I'm like, "What mats? What are you talking about? What are you standing in my office babbling about?" He's like, "Dude, half off." I was like, "Oh, well, I need to reach out to Roge then."
Yeah, absolutely. So that's part of sticking to our theme here. So I'm bringing in tables from other people. We're going to be using desert battle mats on every table. So that's going to help tie it together, in addition to some other ideas. So in order to facilitate that, I need folks to take some of those mats home. And I talked with the Frontline Gaming fellow. I can't recall his name at this exact moment, but he is cool with this arrangement. I made sure he's okay to offer them at these bargain basement prices. So he's perfectly fine with that.
Cool. So are you gonna do the model giveaway, the table of terrain giveaway? Are you gonna do those like you did last year with the raffle, or how are you gonna set up the charity raffle type of thing?
Yep. So there will be a charity raffle once again. The details will come on that for the attendees. But yeah, it's basically going to be a raffle type situation, and people will buy their tickets. And I have a charity in mind, but I'll wait a little closer to the event. It is themed to this year event as well.
Ooh.
Do I
kind
get
of like last year, very loosely tied in.
but more importantly, Raj, do I get to wander around Saturday night yelling about getting your re-rolls with wads of cash in my hand?
It's a strong possibility. I wouldn't rule it out.
So, Raj, I still have that picture of Ryan holding the fistful of dollars and the mock-up combi rifle. And I have been posting that. I posted it today to someone in Nebraska's feed of, the under-over for bad weather. And I was like, do you really know what Ryan does when betting is involved? And posted that picture.
That's awesome. I'm glad you brought that up too, because I completely forgot about the prizes. But so if you like that gun, there's going to be more of them. There's going to be a lot of them.
Who made that last year?
My buddy Chad Hansen. Okay. Damn glad to meet you.
Yep, I know Chad.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's been at all the PACAs. So he's the constructor of that. So he's got the new crop of weaponry. He's delivering it to me at Wapaka basically next week. So I'm busy with that stuff going on. So, I announced the event at the start of the month, and then I kind of switched back to PACA mode until it's done here. So this is the last one. Got to make sure I do it right. But he'll be delivering the weapons to me, and at that time I could take photos and blitz those all over the Facebook feeds.
Nice. So last year the charity auction was people bring stuff, put it in, and then you did raffle tickets, drew a raffle ticket, they came up. Are you looking to do that again? So if somebody has something, just bring it up. Let's do it again.
Yeah, pretty much. If you are helping me out in some way, I think you're good. But if you aren't helping me out, then the expectation will be that you just bring some extra models that you have laying around to entice everybody. And I'll be throwing some extra stuff in there as well. But yeah.
Okay. So you said you're going to have me paint some of the 300 point. Do you have any idea roughly how many models you're going to want me to paint?
Yeah, 6 or 7.
All right. I will tell you now, Raj, I am probably also going to paint up my 012 side of Wildfire and bring that along for the auction also.
Oh, wow.
So you will have
be very generous.
Another force. That's my goal. I've stared at him. I was going to do it. However, as I look in the order of operations that I have for the armies that I want to do, I realize I'm not going to get to it for another couple of years to play for myself. And we have 3 people locally who are starting them up. So I'm just going to paint them up and bring them along with me. They may or may not also get a fancy carrying case that doubles as a piece of terrain. So that is my plan. So you heard it here first, everybody.
That's awesome. That's amazing, dude. Yeah, very cool. Even more miles to get away.
Yeah, that is literally why I am trying to fire through my Akari as fast as possible so that I give myself enough time to do the other.
Yeah, I want to try to get those over to you sometime in February here. So after PACA, I'm going to get it all sorted. But so for the folks listening at home, it'll be, so for my planned 300-point force, I want to give away, it'll be Hawk Islam stuff, which makes sense with the theme there. But yeah.
Yep, it's going to be exciting. I mean, Rob and I speak the praises of the Mission Critical and the Wapaka prior to that, and then not only that, just the group of guys that have always shown up at those times. And I'm going to say guys, even though they're women are fine too. I'm just guys. Don't be one of those people. Shows up that it makes the events really fun, really. Just an enjoyable time where you're just hanging out, probably in most cases drinking large quantities of liquor, and just having a good time.
And making the memories. I mean, I'll be honest. So the gas station tacos, right? That is something that Sean Poschel had talked about probably 6-7 years ago at one of the Wapacas. And I was like, yeah, right, gas station tacos. But anyway, the gas station tacos has been an inside joke between Sean Poschel and I that they are so good and they're so, Wapaka-esque, right? That on Facebook, in an Imperial Terrain 3D printing forum on Facebook, he posted something that he had printed, and I was like, oh, dude, that is so good. Just like gas station tacos. And it transcended because, Sean's like, yes, it is. Just like gas station tacos.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
I mean, there's several times that, Rob and I will say something at work, and we'll say that people are like, wait, you get tacos from a gas station? And
oh, yeah.
Like, oh, you most certainly do. And the year that they were gone because of family problems, it was straight up riot time.
I was looking for pitchforks and torches and an Ace Value True hardware store.
Yeah. So, and I think, I think that's one of the things. I know as in the Infinity community has grown, we're going to get some of those people who are more about the winning at all costs. However, I think the game of Infinity does not allow for net lists, so I think that helps. But I think the community of Infinity really allows for people who are like, all right, let's play a game. Let's roll some dice. Let's figure out what's going on. You and I are going to play this together. And I think Mission Critical is a prime example of how that actually works.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you for saying so, guys. Your excitement here is helping me get excited.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
I'm not excited. You're excited.
Rock hard, baby.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's been a little bit of time. We spent some time talking about this, Roge. Any last bit of nuggets you think we should drop on folks here? Anything you wanna sign off with? Any last thoughts for the night?
No, just be ready for anything, boys. It's gonna get wild out there.
It's Wapaka, where Ryan Moore is the prettiest girl in Wapaka, Wisconsin.
Let's bring your wig, buddy.
Yeah. Rob will still say that at work sometimes. He'll wander by me quietly going, prettiest girl in Wapaka. to which it makes us laugh hysterically. All right. So if you can make it, I highly recommend you making it. Again, like I said, it's the first weekend of May. It's not a win at all costs. So even if you don't feel you're the strongest player, if you feel like, well, I have no chance of coming in first, why do I play? That's not what this event is.
Nope.
So, I think it's one of those events that everybody should at least try to attend. If you're playing Infinity because it's a fun game and hobby for you, then this is the kind of event that is great. If you're playing Infinity because you want to win and you want to get first place, you could do that, but that's not what this event is most solely focused on. So I just keep all that in mind. I think it's a great time. Again, the people that I've met there have been phenomenal. Really probably pillars of why I continue to play this game in my old age.
Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah, thanks for saying that. I just provide the playground for the players to be them best selves out there on the tabletop.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we could sign off. Look forward to seeing everybody in May. You'll hear from Rob and I again.
Yep.
Who knows? You may hear from Roge again. We may have you come on again.
You guys going to Adepticon? What's up with that?
I am definitely in for the Adepticon. Ryan, are you going to the Adepticon?
No, everyone that listens to us knows I can't make Adepticon. It is too close to spring break time. With my wife being a teacher, she gets off for spring break. So this year will actually be, and spring break for us is like the third week of March, which I know is not Adepticon week. However, it is also our 15-year anniversary.
Yeah, congrats.
We are going to try to do something, go on a trip, and I am not made of money. So
no, organs and tissues.
Yeah.
Oh, stretch over a skeleton.
Yeah, that's science, by the way.
You were a scientist for a month. You should know this.
For a month, you know the things. So I won't be going to Adepticon. Maybe some year, but it is not this year.
So
Raj, are you going to Adepticon?
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be hanging
Sweet.
out mostly in the Saga Hall, doing my thing, but I'm sure I will get over there and say hello to you chaps.
That'll be great.
I'm not sure. I have one free day the Friday, so it's undetermined at this point. But that would be maybe my Infinity Day there. But we shall see. Otherwise,
We
nights and
shall.
games.
Yeah.
Definitely on.
Yep, because I am going to be at the Adepticon and running an event with Will Thompson.
Oh, really? Cool. Which
Yep.
one?
It's going to be the Thursday night event, and then I'm playing with Scott Tipsword in the duo event, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And then I'll just
That's
be
the
hanging out the
Friday
rest of the
one?
time. I think so, yeah.
Okay. Got it.
But by the way, they've got a themed army, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've got to do some work building some cosplay stuff, so I'm kind of like, well, I got a jigsaw and I got 10 fingers right now, so whatever.
All right. Well, hope you still got the 10 when Adepticon rolls around.
Yeah, well, it's not going to hurt my dice rolling ability, that's for damn sure.
All right. Well, if anybody wants to get a hold of us, we've got the email. I think it's personalflashpaper at infinity@gmail.com. That comes to me on my phone. Facebook group is the best way to get a hold of us and stay connected, so reach out there. If anybody wants to get a hold of Roge, you can reach out to Rob and I, and we can get you a hold of Roge. The registration for Mission Critical is open, and the website, I believe, is Mission Critical Infinity. Is that right, Roge?
That is correct. Good, sir.
Yep. So missioncriticalinfinity.com. He's going to have all the information there on how much it is. Was it 60 this year?
65.
65.
For the
65.
basic package. You can go expanded with $20 for the paint seminar. You could go with deluxe, all three. Get a 4x4 battle mat in there as well. I think it's 120 if you're going whole hog there.
That's right.
Yep, I went the whole hog.
But the value, Rob, I mean, it's insane.
Oh, yeah, dude, it's insane.
Yeah, you can't find value like that on the. No way.
No, you really
Not
you
on the
can't
open
afford
market.
not to, really.
Yeah, that's true statement right there. You can't afford not to go to the deluxe package.
Exactly.
All right. So check that out. You're going to register by sending Roge money via PayPal, but all that will be on the Mission Critical website, missioncriticalinfinity.com.
And the PayPal address for you, Raj, it changed this year, didn't it?
Yeah.
It did. If you send it to the old one, it still comes to me.
Okay.
And then
Yeah,
I
because
delete it.
and registration went live January 1st, although we hear you got a registration prior to January 1st.
Because some people just don't like to
people-
read.
Yeah, some Panamanians are a little overzealous.
Panamaniacs.
Panamaniacs, yeah. Yeah, we squared it up. You know, we came to an understanding about the nature of his registration.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, Raj, love having you on. Look forward to seeing you again. I wish I was going to be seeing you in a couple weeks at Wapaka, but I have not played AOS since it came out, so it just doesn't make
Me
sense for me to
neither.
go. Yeah. So, well, best of luck to you on that. I'm sure it will go smashingly. What do your numbers look like for Wapaka?
Oh, Wapaka's good. For the last hurrah here, we're looking at about 84 folks, so that's pretty good. We had some TOs from the area helping out with terrain, showing up with mats and terrain, since we're not really going to do it anymore, so there's no point to try to expand it or make it any bigger. But those TOs stepped up and made it a good size event in the end here. So yeah, about 10 days here, it'll be all wrapped up. It'll be the end of an era.
Oh, yeah, it will be. It will be. Something else.
Paka 11, done and dusted.
Damn.
Dang, yeah, that's impressive. Hopefully no one will break any toilet stall doors.
No, yeah, never know. We'll see.
Well, all right. Again, thanks for coming on. If anybody's got any questions about personal flash paper, Infinity, mission critical, reach out. We will do our best to answer them, hopefully correctly.
You know,
I said hopefully.
Just doing your best.
Yeah.
Thank
Raj,
you, guys. It was a blast coming on.
Raj, always a pleasure.
I'll do it at least once more. I mean, before
Sweet.
I'm completely tapped out on it. You know.
Nope, you're in this until we're all done, Raj.
Okay, so it is just one more then, I guess. All right, boys. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Sounds good, Raj.
Thanks so much, Raj.
Take care.
Everybody, have a great time. Thanks for listening. Reach out. Talk to you later.
And remember, dice are fickle bitches.
Background music. Flying species. The Yellow Flying Cock. The use of these human works of music is granted under the current Creative Commons license terms and agreements. From the freemusicarchive.org, from the artists as listed. Thank you.
Welcome to Personal Flash Paper, an Infinity podcast with a focus on... I can't fucking talk.
A focus?
Freakish.